Hey, good afternoon, everyone. See, today is Saturday, September 6th. Today is a beautiful day out in Columbus, Ohio. For today's message, I have the video I'm going to show to you guys. I would say it's very disturbing. It's about an officer arresting a 10-year-old girl in a public school. The main thing I would say for those parents who has their sons or daughter with special needs in a public school, I would say take them out, put them either in private school or put them in homeschool, where like you don't have to deal with teachers, because most teachers, they don't like kids who has special needs, especially the one who's like really aggressive. So I would say just take them out of the public school system, because it is a public school prison pipeline. They don't really care about any of the special needs kids. I mean, most high school, I'm not saying all of them, but most high school or most public school system, they don't like kids who have special needs. So, but anyways, before I send you the video, just need you guys to please subscribe to my channel, click the notification, also click the like button. Just smash those like button, that helps with the algorithm, and also leave a comment on my page. But here's this disturbing video that I'm going to show to you guys. Just leave a comment on my page, tell me what you guys think.
I was scared, I was angry, and I was sad.
That is a little fifth grader with special needs speaking out tonight after a police body cam shows the way she was disciplined at school. We need to warn you, overall, the story and some of the video may be disturbing to watch. It's not easy. The little girl's dad, though, contacted the I-Team's Ginger Allen, and Ginger is here now to take the story from there. Ginger?
So, Doug, the family reached out to us because for 2 years, the I-Team and our CBS partners across the country have been investigating case after case after case of young children who do not appear to be posing a threat to anyone, arrested, handcuffed, and restrained at schools. Now this Conroe family is asking how what you are about to see could happen to their fifth grader, especially after a new law was just passed in Texas following all of our stories.
Cameras are rolling as police arrive at Cryer Intermediate School, a few hours south of Dallas. McKenna Lombardo is on the playground with administrators.
That's why I called you, because I didn't know where we were headed.
A police report states they've been called because the 10-year-old was, quote, physically aggressive and throwing markers, and she had pinned her associate principal's arm against a door frame.
Blocked me into the door, which, filing charges, just so you know, you don't have to.
Officers walk McKenna inside. They stop at the bathroom where the fifth grader refuses to come out. The situation escalates as McKenna starts to walk towards the door and then turns around.
Don't find me, dude. Don't freaking find me.
Let's go, Mom.
No, sir.
Let's go.
I'm not going.
You'll come with me, or we will go to juvenile.
Okay, we will.
Then let's go. Turn around, put your hands behind your back.
No.
Turn around, put your hands behind her back. Now you're resistant. Turn around, put your hands behind
I'm
your
trying
back.
to go get my shoes.
You're not going to get your shoes.
Why?
Now
My
you'll
shoes.
listen. You'll put your hands behind your back.
I need to go get my shoes.
I will get your shoes. Put your hands behind your back.
In the minutes leading up to this, you repeatedly hear the administrators tell the officers McKenna's dad, Matt Lombardo, is on the way. Lombardo says the school knew his daughter had autism. Medical documents provided by him show she is diagnosed with several disorders.
Where's my daddy?
Eventually, you see Lombardo outside, a former police officer himself, begging them to release McKenna from the squad car.
If they'd like her to be released to me, please. Are you charging her right this second? If you're not charging right now, are you charging her? She is detained, sir. Okay, you need to release her. No, sir.
Next, you hear the Conroe ISD officer call the DA's office and discuss filing an assault on a public servant charge.
She assaulted the teacher, slammed her into a wall.
Lombardo eventually sees his daughter driven away in custody. He says he assumes she's assaulted an administrator until 1 week later when he watches all of the video.
My anger turned to rage.
The No Kids in Cuff law, which passed following our investigation, states a peace officer may not restrain a student enrolled in 5th grade or below unless the student poses a serious risk of harm to the student or another person. Lombardo says the body cameras prove McKenna was not posing an immediate threat to herself or anyone at the time she was handcuffed. But this is what's even more upsetting to him.
She assaulted you. She did assault me. No, she pinned me up against the door. She blocked the door and my arm happened to be there.
It's conversations you hear about the incident back in the classroom before officers ever arrived.
That's up to you, though, with the arm. If you want to do something like that, that's totally your call.
I mean, if it'll help.
Lombardo believes the officers repeatedly coerced the teachers as they discussed whether charges should be filed against McKenna.
Did you think about that?
I feel stupid doing that.
I've seen way less. I've seen way less. Well, she's in handcuffs already, so she's going to jail now. So she just gets charged with assault. Assault on a public servant.
Like that was in Miami.
Oh, yeah. It don't matter.
They were doing whatever they could in order to solicit a felony charge against a 10-year-old. It's sick. I mean, a special needs 10-year-old.
3 days after the arrest, a second staff member files another assault report stating during the bathroom incident, McKenna, quote, slammed her hands and body into the dispenser, injuring the woman's hand. She states, I yelped because it hurt.
I didn't hear her yelp. I didn't hear any injuries that would have been sustained that would be consistent with what was depicted in the police report, to include all the photographs.
We took the pictures, reports, and video to the advocacy group which brought the No Kids in Cuff bill to Austin last year, and to the senator who wrote it.
The school should have determined whether there was other alternatives other than putting a 5th grader, a 10-year-old in handcuffs. In this situation, she wasn't posing a danger to herself or anyone else at that point in time. And it appears as though, based on looking at the video, the justification was made up after the fact.
Sounds like assault to a public official.
Do it? I mean, it will. It'll help.
What really perturbed me was a teacher was being pressured. The pressure that we saw came from the officer. It goes counter to their values, and it was very disappointing to see.
Both the Minaret Foundation and Senator Royce West say the purpose of their law was to prevent the short and long-term impacts this discipline has on a child. McKenna's family allowed us to ask her.
I'm worried because I don't want it to happen to anybody else. Younger than me, older than me. I know I was being bad and I wasn't listening to the teachers, but I didn't think I was going to get arrested.
When we first began digging into these cases, our CBS data team learned that children with disabilities nationwide are arrested at 4 times the rate of non-disabled children. And then in Texas, children with disabilities and minority children are arrested at higher rates than their white and non-disabled counterparts. For this investigation, our data team dove back into all of those numbers we had been looking at, this time looking specifically at the school and the restraint data there. In Texas, in 2021, we found that about 4% of the students with disabilities acquire intermediate restraint. Statewide, less than 0.5% of all students with disabilities were restrained. And our data team, Doug, called that a stark difference.
Now, I've got a question for you, but candidly, first a thought. And my first thought is, if not but for the video, would we have ever even heard about this thing? And the answer
No.
is maybe not, right? Probably. But regarding McKenna, before this was all over, for clarity, she actually faced not one but two assault on a public servant charges after everything we saw.
That's right. So one for what happened before the officers ever arrived, and we don't see that on video. And then the second for the incident you do see on video in the bathroom. I do have an update for you, though, here. This is the latest. On July 31st, during McKenna's intake hearing, the Lombardos say Montgomery County listened carefully to them and then dropped all of those charges. Doug, I also want us to look at the other side of this for a second, because I've covered a lot of these cases, and I've heard from many of you teachers out there who talk about how difficult and dangerous the classroom can be for them and for other students. I've heard from you. So to find out what more we may not have seen on this video, if there was anything we missed at all, I reached out to the Conroe ISD and to the police. I even asked Conroe ISD for its policies about arresting and restraining, which Senator West asked me to get for him. The school did not provide that. They would only send a statement saying it could not respond due to student privacy laws. And I still haven't heard from Conroe ISD police.
Well, you made the calls, you gave the opportunity to reach out and to hear the other side, and that's what we do. Ginger Allen, I-Team, thank you so much.
All right, so as you guys can see in that video, I would say that's just totally wrong. And I would say there is a different way where you can discipline a child who's very aggressive with autism. There's different strategies of how to do it besides calling the police and getting them arrested and put them in assault, because it gets you nowhere doing that for those kids. I mean, nowhere. And I just think that's just completely wrong. Alright, so I'm going to read this CB News website. So I would say there's some truth to it. So it's saying, and this is a state of Texas. So it's stating that in an incident raising questions about school discipline and law enforcement practices, police handcuffed a 10-year-old girl with learning disability following an incident at school. Conroe ISD police arrested McKenna Lombardo, a 5th grader at Crier Intermediate School last May. I was scared, I was angry, and I was sad, McKenna recalled. The incident, captured on police body cameras, reveals a sequence of events and comments that has McKenna's father, Matt Lombardo, a former police officer, demanding answer. Oh, so I would say Lombardo used to be a police officer himself. I would say if I was him, I would have gone to the police supervisor and, I would have him, I would have told, the police, the supervisor to fire the guy who arrested his daughter. I mean, that's what I would have done if I was in his shoes, especially if you're a former police officer. You do have that right. So the family reached out to the I-Team after seeing the videos watching how McKenna was disciplined and listening to the discussion officers and administration had during a situation. Lombardo told the I-Team he believes the school is aware McKenna has autism, and Lombardo provided the I-Team a doctor's note explaining some of her medical disorder. See, why our officers are called. On May 17th, 2024, Crier Intermediate Administration called the Conroe ISD Police Department after what the police report describes as McKenna being physically aggressive and throwing markers. The report also states that she had pinned her associate principal arm against the door frame, which kind of hard to believe that. Footage from the body camera shows officers arriving at the playground where McKenna was with school administrator on the field. She is picking up rocks and then finds a frog along the fence. One teacher, standing several yards away, is heard talking to the officer as he arrives. She explains what happened. She blocked me in the door. I'm not filing charges, just so you guys know. The teacher then tells the officers, that's why I called you, because I didn't know where we were headed. Sounds to me you need a little bit of help, a little bit of training of knowing what to do with the aggressive behavior of a student, because it seems like you don't know what you're doing. As the officer and administrator walked McKenna inside, headed to the office, they stop at a bathroom where McKenna refuses to come out. The situation escalates as McKenna will not stop dispensing paper towels from the dispenser. She walks to the doorway and then heads back inside the bathroom where the teacher stretch out their arms to stop her from going all the way back inside. As McKenna tries to dodge the teachers and go back into the restroom, the officer tells McKenna to come out while she turns away from his arms as he tries to handcuff her. The officer demands she put her hands behind her back. McKenna continually tells the officer she wants to go get her shoes. The officer tells McKenna, I will get your shoes. He then puts handcuffs on her and walks her to the office. There is no further discussion about her shoes at this point. In the minutes leading up to this, the administrators are reportedly heard telling the officers McKenna's dad is on the way. On body cam video, McKenna's father is eventually seen outside the officers after the officer has put McKenna in a squad car. Lombardo is seen and heard pleading with officers to release his daughter. I would like to be released to me, please. Are you charging her right this second? If you're not charging her, are you charging her? Lombardo asked. The officers replied, she's detained. Next in the footage, the Conroe ISD officer steps aside to call the Montgomery County District Attorney's Office to discuss filing an assault on a public servant charge, which he says happened back in the classroom before the officers arrived and before body camera videos are rolling. She assaulted a teacher, slammed her into the wall, caused a little laceration on her forearm. He alleges in the conversation with the DA's office on his cell phone. The charge is accepted. Lombardo goes up to the window of the squad car and tries to explain to McKenna what has happened to her while she sits in the back seat of the car. He eventually sees her driven away. Starting at the video, as he watched it with the I-Team, Lombardo says he assumed at that point in time that McKenna had assaulted an administrator. Continue on, but everything changed 1 week later when he obtained and watched the body cam videos from the school. His anger turned to rage. The Lombardi family was able to watch the officers place handcuffs on McKenna's just outside the restroom. They say they were horrified for several reasons. They say the arrest should have never happened because of the no kids cuffs law passed in Texas last year, which they shouldn't have that in the first place. They shouldn't arrest the kids in the first place. They were just children. The law passed following our I-Team investigation states that a peace officer may not restrain a student enrolled in 5th grade or below unless the student poses a serious risk of harm to the student or another person. In McKenna's case, her father agrees that McKenna was being difficult, but he argues that the body camera footage, which starts after the initial allegations that led to the officer's arrival in the first place, shows she was not posing any immediate threat to anyone at the time she was handcuffed, but several exchanges between the officers and 2 teachers heard on the body camera videos is what was even more upsetting to him. She assaulted you. Teacher 1 said she did assault me, I am bleeding, etc., etc. 3 days after the arrest, a second staff member filed another assault on a public servant charge, starting during the bathroom incident, which is seen on body cam videos. According to the charge, McKenna slammed her hands on body into the dispenser, injuring the woman's hand. The police report states the second teacher said, "I yelped because it hurt." Looking at the video of the incidents, Lombardo says, "I didn't hear her yelp. I didn't hear any injuries that would have been consistent with what was depicted in the police report, to include all the photograph that we have on a wrist and everything else." So you can read this on CBS News. There's a little bit more details, but I'm gonna stop right here because this is what I'm thinking, and especially when I saw the video and all the lies that I see on the video, because the evidence was stating that there's no injuries, there's nothing going on. So, but because I experienced this myself dealing with teachers, most teachers in the public school system, like I was saying earlier, they just, how do I say this? I want to say that, I was thinking criminalized, but no. But they do profile people with disability a lot. They don't like they don't like dealing with people with special needs because they don't know. Teachers in the public school system don't know what to do with kids or with students that has these aggressive behavior, because okay, here's my thing. For people like us, okay, people like us in a special needs community, we don't know how to show expression to other people. We don't know how to explain how we feel, especially dealing with stressful times. So the way that we deal with our stress, the way that we deal with our emotion is we act out, and we sometimes act out in aggressive behavior because sometimes teachers do not know how to, I wouldn't say handle us, but sometimes teachers don't know how to listen to us, and so on and so forth. They don't know how to, when we try to explain to the teachers in our own language, our teachers don't know how to comprehend us, is what I'm trying to explain. And so therefore we act out aggressively, or I should say students with autism, students with special needs, and all different types of different kinds of disabilities and stuff like that, we sometimes act out aggressively because the teachers or the principal or whoever, they don't understand us very well. And so in order to get the teachers and the principal to understand us very well, we have to act out. And because we're acting out, y'all don't know what to do, so you guys like to call the police and arrest us. And that's just blatantly wrong. That's not how that's not how you discipline a student with disability. You have to slow down. You have to get them to explain to you best ways they can of what's wrong with them and why they're acting up, and just listen. That's all we need from your teachers and from the principal, is for you guys to listen. And y'all just don't have any patience to listen. Another thing that I kind of saw from this video, because of all the lies and everything, is because I could see she's mixed with half black and half white. I'm not sure if this is true or not, but there is a little bit of racism into this as well, because I can see the teacher is white, and of course the officer is white, and the student is black, or I should say she's mixed, but really they see her as black. So when I see those two things, that's another thing that, you know, kind of makes this video, or makes this news very disturbing, is because I can see that there is a little racism in there. And that's another reason why you want to take her out of the public school system. And you can either put her into what I agree to what Philip Scott was showing. Shout out to him, Philip Scott. You can listen to his channel. He tells great news about, you know, how the system treats the black community and so on and so forth. But give a shout out to him. But you guys could watch his video and everything. But I agree what Philip Scott was saying. Take her out of those schools and put her into, I would say, a black school where she doesn't feel attacked by the school teacher, or she doesn't feel like she, you know, I wouldn't say attacked, but she doesn't feel like, where she doesn't feel like she's not safe there, is what I'm trying to explain. So you can put her into that school, but like I said, I'll say put her either in private school or put her into a black community school, or you can homeschool her. Another thing that what her parents can do is her parents can actually sue the school for calling the police on her. I would say just sue the school, see what you can get out of it, and of course not take her to that school anymore. You can do it that way, and so on and so forth. But in the meanwhile, like I was saying, I would never put any of my kids into the public school system. Either put them in private school or put them in homeschool. But I would never want to put them into a public school system because they don't know how to handle kids with special needs, period. So, in the meantime, thank you for watching this video. And I will see you on the next one. Take care, give care, and I'll see you later.